Okay, opened up our season with the SEC opponent, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Offensively, they have 7 returning starters, led by their returning starting quarterback, Brandon Allen. Very quality quarterback. He was banged up a lot last year, but we know he can really throw it. Their running backs, they're very deep. Collins, Williams, and Marshall, they're all 3 outstanding running backs. They run hard. They all can capable of making big plays. Their tight end, Hunter Henry, is one of the best in the country and one of the best in our league. Had a very good freshman year last year, and we know that he's a definite impact player. Defensively, they have 6 returning starters, led by their defensive end, Trey Flowers, outstanding player, an impact player that can change a game. Their safety, Alan Turner, is their leading tackler, very aggressive, and a very good player. Kicking game last year, they were very aggressive, and we expect them to do the same thing in this first game. And overall, we expect them to be much improved. They got an excellent coaching staff. It's their second year, in their systems, and we know that they're going to present a lot of challenges. As for us, our Jeremy Johnson will start, and then Nick Marshall will play. I'm not ready to say exactly when and all that, but he definitely will play. Also, Josh Holsey will start in the place of Jonathan Mincy, and Mincy will play also as far as that goes. Robinson Thorese, I don't have any updated information for you, but like I said before, as soon as I do, I will definitely let you know. Overall, our guys are just excited that the season's here. It's been a long off season, the way that the season ended in the last game, and our guys are looking forward especially to playing at home. And so I know our coaching staff feels the same, and we know we're playing a very good opponent, and we're going to have to play well.
Questions? What will affect when Nick will come in the game?
What's that?
What will affect when?
Yeah, we have a plan, and they know the plan, and
so score could play into it.
Yeah, we have a plan, and so we know what that is.
Who's your third running back right now behind those 2 seniors?
Yeah, we've got, of course, Rock Thomas. He's got a chance right there to be in the game. He's also got a chance to be kick returner. Peyton Barber, obviously, has a chance. So we really don't have who's number 3, who's number 4. We have specific things we feel like that both those guys can do well.
I know you won't say it publicly, but does Jeremy have an idea of how long he's going to be in the game?
Like I said, me and Coach Lashley and the rest of the guys, we have a plan.
When do you inform Jeremy he's going to start?
Jeremy's known that for a while.
Could you talk a little bit about his development, kind of from spring to now and last season to now?
You talking about Jeremy? Yeah. He's a lot like Nick. He went through the season, learned the offense, on the go. Then we had a chance in spring, gave him a lot of reps. He was already pretty familiar with this style of offense because he did something very similar in high school. We have a lot of confidence in him to run our entire offense. And like I said before, he's very talented. I mean, the 2 games he played last year, he was the freshman SEC Offensive Player of the Week.
Coach, do you feel like you have to be conservative considering Jeremy is his first SEC start?
We have a lot of confidence in him, and he knows the whole playbook. There's not one thing that I would say that we're concerned about.
How much will help Jeremy to get some SEC experience under his belt, for this season and for the future? Yeah,
I think there's nothing like experience. There's no doubt about that. And the fact that he got some good experience last year, and like I said, even this year we were going to have a plan for him being a bigger factor this year than he was last year, and he's earned that too. I mean, he's very quality, and he does a lot of things that can help us win.
Yes. What has Nick Ruffin done to jump up there too?
Yeah, Nick's really stood out and done an outstanding job. On the defensive side, we've had a lot of scrimmages with the young guys' emphasis, and he stood out and did a very good job in all those.
Talk about Jeff Whitaker's comeback. You saw him back when he was young before he got hurt. How's he doing?
Yeah, Jeff is one of our leaders. Last year in fall camp, banged his knee up, need to get fixed. Went ahead and redshirted. He's got a lot of experience. He's healthy now, and I think that's a big factor. And he's got experience in this league.
Like he was before he got hurt?
I think so. I think he probably even feels a little bit better.
We've heard so much feedback about Sean Coleman, his progress. We saw it last season. How tough is it, though, going out there now and having to face a guy like Trey Flowers, who a couple years back kind of had a heyday here?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I mean, Trey's one of the better defensive ends in all of our league. And, they've got other defensive ends that are pretty talented too. But, Sean is in a good spot. He's very confident. He's playing very good football now, and so it'll be good to see, how those matchups, work out.
Yes, you have tight end H-back listed at the same position essentially. Obviously, there are differences in those two positions. Is there potential to play both Brandon and CJ?
That is a possibility to play them both. I put Orr because both of them are definitely starters in our mind, and there is times you'll see them both on the field at the same time. The thing about it that both those guys give us a lot of flexibility. I mean, both of them last year played outside receiver, inside receiver, X to the boundary, H. They played with our hand down, so it gives us a lot of versatility, with those two guys, and so especially to move around.
Yes, how are the reps we split the ones between Jeremy and Nick this week?
Yeah, well, we have a plan, and we're going to stick with that. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody exactly what our plan is, but we do have a plan. We feel very good about it.
When the offseason was a major point was balance, achieving balance.
Yeah.
When you're in an opening game where a team who likes to control possession and the clock last year was more than 2-1 the first half in particular. Does reaching that goal become more difficult, and do you take kind of some of the major points of that goal maybe a step down?
Well, the first game you want to take what they give you. If they give you the run, you want to be able to run it. If they dare you to throw it, you want to be able to throw it. But you're exactly right. Last year, the time possession offensively, there wasn't a lot of plays run, and they did a very good job of controlling the tempo and controlling the clock. And so that's definitely a factor. Obviously, we'd like the tempo to be in our favor.
Is Jalen Denson going to be ready to go for opening game?
Yeah, he'll be ready to go. He will.
Coach, you said that Jeremy's known for a while. When did you tell him? Last week?
Me and Rhett communicated with our quarterbacks, and we've had a plan for a while.
Gus, you mentioned last year's game, but they got a new defensive coordinator. You don't have any actual video of him in Arkansas. How do you prepare for what will probably be a very different approach defensively?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some similarities. I think that obviously he's very good. First of all, he's a very good defensive coordinator. He's very sound. You just do the best you can on predicting about how they're going to play you. But the first game, no matter whether it's this one or other years, there's always a feeling out time. There's usually wrinkles that you have to adjust to. And first games are usually about adjustment. So, we're going to do what we do, and we're going to hopefully get a feel for them, earlier in the game rather than later. And like I said, try to take what they give us.
You mentioned Brandon Allen. He played last year's game with a numbed-up shoulder.
Yeah.
He didn't have, I think, about 30 yards on his range. He's clearly a different guy now. So again, how do you anticipate?
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, he's healthy now. I've seen him all the way back to high school. I know he can throw it. He's very accurate. Even with his arm last year, he threw a couple deep balls very good. And he's a competitor. And he's a returning starter. There's not very many returning starters back in our league, and we know that he'll be ready.
What are you expecting from Williams? What are you expecting out of him?
What's that?
DeQuan Williams, what are you expecting from him?
Well, expecting him to execute our offense. Up to this point, he's done a very good job. But there's nothing like games, and we'll see how he responds to games. But like I've said before, he's very talented, and we'll just being able to execute our offense and go from there.
Yes, you have 5 freshmen and 10 newcomers on your 2D. How comfortable are you playing them in this first game and letting them kind of see some?
Yeah, well, if they're on the 2 deep, there's a really good chance that they're going to play. We think we got some talented guys. Fall camp, they've earned the right to be up there, and So we feel very comfortable.
Yes, with Robinson Therese, you don't list him on the depth chart. You really haven't given him much mention here at all in this situation. Is this something that could stretch to 3-6 games?
I don't know, but we just didn't feel like we need to put him on there right now until it gets resolved.
I guess at the beginning of fall camp, you mentioned that Anthony Swain was at the end of the line, linebacker, after his undisclosed issues in the spring. But when Ellis went here Sunday, he said now he's the number 3 guy.
Right.
How pleased are you about how he immediately?
Yeah, he's responded well, and he's earned his way back, and he's got experience, and he's got some big game experience, and Coach Johnson has a comfort with him.
Coach, on a different note, there's a lot of big non-conference games this weekend as far as Clemson, Georgia, LSU, Wisconsin. You guys have a big one going up to Kansas State early in the season. How much do those help as far as recruiting goes and kind of getting the name out there?
Yeah, anytime you play, big games, obviously you want to play well, first of all. That's the way that it helps recruiting. The fact that we're playing an SEC game, the very first game, on the SEC network, I think is huge. And I think a lot of recruits, will be watching.
Gus, going back to the last year, the swing gate play, and do you like some of that gamesmanship between coaches, and also knowing Bielema's past, he likes to do some trick stuff on special teams especially. How much have you guys prepared for that?
Well, I think you got to be prepared for everything. He's a very good coach. I mean, look at his track record. And he's always been fairly aggressive. And so, first game, we got to be prepared for everything. And, like I said, they were very aggressive in special teams last year. And they got a lot of those guys back, and I expect them to be very aggressive, on Saturday.
You expect something similar, like a swinging gate play, something that kind of...
I'm really not for sure, but we got to be prepared for whatever presents itself. First games are very unique, and you've got to be prepared for a lot of things. And, first games, special teams are usually a factor one way or another. And I'm sure they're preaching the same thing, but, we've got to win the special teams battle.
Out of Stephen Roberts and Trey Williams as freshmen and make the depth chart.
Yeah, both those guys have earned their way, to get to that spot. We think that both those guys will have a chance to be good players.
Sean Coleman, is that the guy that coaches the team all kind of pull for, and happy to see him in this situation?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, you root for a guy like that, and the fact that you've seen Sean grow and work through, everything that he has, and to get to this point, of course, I got a chance to recruit him and watch the whole process go, and it's real special for me personally. But he's a football player, and he doesn't like all the extra attention and all that, but he's just ready to go out there and play, and we really expect him to play well.
People forget, it's been a long time, but how highly recruited a guy he was. I mean, could you talk about his
he was one of the top tackles in the entire country when he came out. And he's starting to get his strength back and everything that we thought when we recruited him. So it's a lot of fun to watch him.
Yeah, it's kind of a big picture question, but you made it a point of emphasizing that your staff didn't have any turnover this offseason and how rare that is. Not speaking to this staff specifically this season or now, but just in a broad philosophical approach to how you go about coaching, could you ever see yourself making a change to your staff only after a couple of games if things weren't going right?
I have a lot of confidence in the staff. My mind never even goes there. And, you look at what we did last year, we almost won the whole thing with the staff, and we got a lot of confidence in them. And so I don't know where that question came from, but it's kind of off the wall.
You having lots of experience with first-time stars at quarterback, is it a little different with a guy like Jeremy that's been in the offense?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, we have a very good idea of what we're going to get with Jeremy. He's been in game situations. He's a year older. He's went through spring. He's worked with the ones. I mean, so we have a lot of confidence in him, and it is different than just a starter you don't know that much about.
Coach, Bielema made a point yesterday about saying Arkansas's depth chart is free of suspensions and we don't have anything hanging over us in the cloud of doubt. What is your reaction to that?
I have a lot of respect for Coach, and he coaches his program, and I coach mine, so really don't have, any comment.
Gus, last year you guys, were under the radar, maybe snuck up on a couple of people. This year, obviously, coming in ranked in the top 10. What's the expectations? Have you guys talked about expectations this year? And kind of?
Yeah, I mean, obviously your goal is to repeat as SEC champions. You know, it's obviously tough to do. Our guys understand it's been, what, 16, 17 years. We're going to have the same plan. I mean, we got an extremely challenging schedule, and we're going to have the same plan we had last year. We're going to go one game at a time, and that's all you can do. And, you know, we got our hands full with this first one, and that's really the only thing on our mind.
You guys heard a lot about the 13 seconds, falling 13 seconds short,
Yeah.
and you haven't played a game since.
Right.
Is it, how important is it to kind of get back on the field and get that taste out of you?
It's very important, and I know that our players and our coaches are looking forward to that, you know, to get back on the field and you know, hopefully get that bad taste out of our mouth.
When Cameron Artis-Payne came on campus last summer, he was really thinking, I can be the starter here. Obviously, Trey kind of came out there in the those first 3 games, but how has he progressed as a running back, and what makes you believe that he could possibly be the guy, saying week 2, 3, and beyond?
Well, right now we got him and Corey Grant, and that's why we put Orr. I mean, we have confidence in both those guys to run our entire offense. I know Corey last year was more perimeter and all that, but he can run the whole offense and really has improved in a lot of areas. Cameron Artis-Payne is a very confident guy. Got a lot of quality carries last year, especially early. So we know what we're getting with him, but him and Corey right now are, you know, they're 1A. We feel very comfortable to run our entire offense, and you know, we'll see how everything progresses, you know, as the season goes on.
Can you talk about special teams and what you're expecting from them?
You know, special teams, you know, we're going to have a new kicker and a new punter, so you know that's definitely a concern. But he's extremely talented. And he's a great competitor, and so that's important. And you know what we really tried to stress is let's be better around him. And so we have a lot more experience, you know, around him on our punt team and our kickoff team, and you know, stuff like that. So you know, that's what we're preaching.
On the kickoff returners, it looks like you got some real talent back there. Talk about those guys.
Well, the thing about it, we got 4 guys that can run. And you know, they all 4 can take it to the house, and I think that's critical. You'll see all 4 back there at times, and we worked extremely hard, and you know, we're pleased with those 4 guys.
Gus, you have essentially 5 receivers potentially starting with the Orr. What's the likelihood that you can see a lot more?
Yeah, we have different packages, obviously, formations, personnel groups, and all that. But you know, with the experience we have back, it gives us a lot of flexibility, and it gives us a lot of flexibility to play a lot of people. And I think that's critical too. You know, especially early in the season, a game during the day. So you know, we have some depth at that position, and I think that's critical.
How do you feel about the way that Nick has responded and handled himself since you told him he wouldn't be starting?
He's handled himself very well. You know, he's had a very good fall camp, like I've said before, not only on the field, but you know, as a leader, and you know, he's ready to go when called upon.
Take one more.
Did you talk about Arkansas's receivers? You talked a lot about Brandon Allen, but those guys probably had a lot of room for improvement too. What do you expect from Arkansas's receivers?
Well, I think they're going to be much improved. There's no doubt, and I think they'll take some chances, throw it deep, and I think they got some guys that can go after the football.
All right, Coach.
All right, thank you.